Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Welcome in. It is another edition of the Detroit Lions Victory Monday. A beautiful Monday, brother. The Detroit Lions, 9-3. They are a real football team.
Let's go.
There's a football team in the city of Detroit that is 9-3, brother, and we're celebrating another Victory Monday. Usually it's a Friday or Monday, whatever. Depends on the day you play. But
Monday.
We've celebrated 9 of them.
Victory Monday, and yes, we are 9-3. The Lions are 9-3. Doesn't feel like that with all the skepticism out there. A little bit of hatred, a little bit of loser mentality. We're 9-3. The Lions are 9-3. Have a path to the playoffs. Let's go. This is going to be a fun show.
We're 9-3, and listen, there's a lot of things I think the Lions can fix. A lot of things that are they there with the 49ers, Eagles, all of that?
No.
Maybe not, but there's a lot of things to talk about, and a lot of positive things, a lot of negative things to talk about this football team. Right now, if you guys don't notice, my chair is just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking.
Right.
Like, I'm just going lower and lower and lower. I don't know what is happening because it didn't do this. I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes, and it did not do this.
It's kind of odd.
This is crazy.
Just stand up.
I'm going to stand up for a little bit. All right, welcome in, though. 9-3 football team Victory Monday. My name is Booner. As always, Matt Broder. Right next to me, Detroit Lions beat reporter. We've got Jalen in the house, as always. And we got full crew today. And Nick in the sound booth, as always.
Let's go. Victory Monday, baby. Go with the Lions. 9-3, leading the North. Contender in the NFC. Let's go. What a day, boys. Let's go.
Where's your jacket?
I was burning up early. So
the sauna in there.
Yeah, I'll get it back on for the.
You guys got to see this later on in the show.
It's great. It is great. Hey, there's a lot of things, though. We have a packed show because it is Victory Monday. We didn't have a show Friday, so we have a lot of things to cover today. Lions, Michigan, college football playoffs. The Red Wings are on not a 5-game win streak, but they won 5 of their last 6. So there's a lot of things happening in the state of Michigan right now, and we're going to talk about all of it here. I hope we can bring the energy for you guys. I don't know what the other shows were like, but we're going to bring the energy. We're going to talk Detroit Lions, and we're going to make sure we have a good time to hear. You guys are taking your time to do this. I want to start this off real quick, brother, before we get into things. I want to play. This is like a weekly tradition for us when the Detroit Lions win. Dan Campbell in the locker room. These are some of my favorite videos. I don't know about you guys, if you guys have seen these yet, but Dan Campbell after every single win. 2 weeks ago, we got the woo! This week we didn't get the woo, but we've got a couple other things here. We've got a rookie speech here. So here's Dan Campbell in the locker room after the Lions' big win.
All right, here we go.
It's for you, Freddie.
And you guys went after it. And guess what? We went out and we won. Came out electric. And we had to hang on. We had to get back. Defense, 2 takeaways. It's huge. Yeah. It's huge. That's a credit to everybody in this room. I'm so proud of all of you guys. Was it perfect? No, but god dang, man, that's not easy to come in this place and win. That's outstanding, man. Outstanding. I got one game ball. Give me the game ball. Sam Laporta.
Rookies get a speech.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, first one of December. Use this one as a fucking springboard going forward, boys. Great win. Family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Family. All right, you guys saw it there. The energy in the locker room after these wins. And, you see a lot of teams get wins, and, you can have whatever you have to say about this football team, but every single game after, the energy in there, these guys, they're a one unit. Even after a loss, I have a stat here real quick, Broder. First of all, this is the first time the Detroit Lions are 9-3 since 1962. On top of that, I heard a stat at a press conference either last night or today that someone asked, I can't remember, I couldn't tell because I don't know all the voices. You probably, if you heard it, you would know. They asked Dan Campbell, though, this is the first time, or not the first time, after 6 straight losses, the Detroit Lions have won the next game. Six
The
straight
last six losses, they've won the next game.
So they know how to bounce back adversity. Like, hey, we're going through this. And what have I talked about the last 2 weeks since we lost in Thanksgiving? I said, Dan Campbell, every single time that adversity has hit in the last 2 years, he has found a way. They had 10 days off. He has found a way to kind of get this team rallied together and say, hey, this is what we're going to fix. This is what we need to do, and we're going to do so. Last year, started 1-6, finished 8-2. The year before, they had a terrible start and ended up the second half of the season towards the end, turned things around. Every time the adversity is hit, and it felt like that 3 or 4 game stretch, Broder, the Bears, Ravens, Chargers, the Packers, that whole stretch there, it felt like that this team just did not look like that football team that we saw for the weeks before. And then they say, hey, we have 10 days. Dan's like, I'm gonna make some changes here. We're gonna make a few things. Looked like he did it actually. And in New Orleans, this New Orleans game, they went out there. I know it became a close game, but they still dominated in different aspects of the game that they weren't in weeks before. And it looked like a different. At some points, it looked like a different football team. And I think that's some positives out of this.
Resilience,
game.
baby.
Yeah.
It's resilience. That's what this team is built off of. Those stats you were giving me about the last 6 losses and win after. That reminds me. You guys remember Verlander's MVP year? I think he had 12 or 13 of his 19, 20, whatever wins came after a Tigers loss. Mm-hmm. That's MVP material to me. I love that this is what the Lions are built off of. And here's the number for you, actually courtesy of Eduardo O'Neill. Eduardo O'Neill talking about Dan Campbell after the next win. Whenever that comes, I hope he pulls out a $10 bill when we win again. How about that? You think Dan Campbell's got that cooked up his sleeve?
Well, he did say that the $5 bill he did not. Was
no,
the 5
I know.
He didn't have it. So maybe he does. Maybe he's a little... You know
what I love too from that clip, and you could see from his reaction how normal and playful it is. It's not just some strange initiation, but the fact that they really didn't let Laporta give a speech. They make these rookies earn it.
Yep.
And they're all a part. Like it's a fun atmosphere, a playful, mature team actually. Knowing, all right, rooks, you got to earn it. There's 5 or 6 of you that are key contributors to this team. One man who's a very key contributor. But no, you got to wait. You got to earn it. Your time will come.
And I think that's part of the culture that's being built
here.
And I just wrote down here in the introduction, I wrote down just names. And I know we're going to do our, we give our Kool-Aid pitcher away to some people. We have that's our game ball. But just these names here that just showed out yesterday. And some of these guys, like for weeks, we didn't hear much of. And then yesterday, it's like these guys are involved. They're back. Sam Laporta, J-Mo, Gibbs, Branch, Jack Campbell, Jalen Reeves-Maben, Bruce Irvin. Bruce Irvin stepped up in a huge way. And that was incredible. I have a stat later in the show. Or maybe I'll just say it now.
Go for it. Go.
11 snaps on defense, 2 quarterback hurries, a quarterback hit, and a sack. In 11 snaps on defense.
I stand corrected.
And then that's the thing. There was a lot of people too, and I'm not going to go at people for being like, hey, maybe Bruce isn't going to be that dude.
Yeah, whatever.
But no one knew that he was going to do that. And now as he starts to get more involved, that's going to help your defense out. James Houston's going to be back. Things are starting to happen a little bit, and I just think it's. I know it was a brutal one. We're going to get into some of these. We have the breakdowns, we have the takeaways, all of that we're going to talk about. I'm taking away from this is that, hey, the Lions found a way to win. And off that 10 game stretch, it could have been easy for them to kind of throw another game and drop one to the Saints after losing to the Packers and put a back-to-back loss together, and they just still have not done that.
100%.
They have not put back-to-back losses together. They find ways to get things done and to make changes. Dan Campbell's been incredible at it, bro.
Yeah, there are things to improve on. The game wasn't perfect, but this team is 9-3 and headed in the right direction. And I know Booner. Those fans showed up again in New Orleans.
Oh, my gosh. There's a video of it.
They showed up again. From the start, you could hear people talking about it on Twitter, on different platforms the night before, everyone in New Orleans. There's a video for it?
I put a video on
Jalen, whenever you're ready, if you could throw that up there. Fans showed out again. This is a away game.
Thank you.
It is in there. Amazing. I mean, you know what pivot. I'm going to give the first reaction to Nick so he can show off that jacket and take it off after you give this reaction.
He's been on the road,
Let's
too,
go.
with these people,
Yeah,
too. So.
you are one of the road warriors.
That one reminded me of Tampa Bay a little bit. I'll flash the jacket.
Look at that fit.
The only thing the Pistons have done right this year is
That is
get their...
nasty.
17 straight.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It's all about the Lions, baby. Screw the Pistons right now. It's all about these fans, too. They've been traveling all year like this. It's so great to see from a fan base all unite and go on this magical run together. We're going to win this North, and we're going to make some noise in the playoffs.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm truly, and we're gonna get into this now. After I want to give you guys the show rundown here, and we do have some injury updates I want to get to.
Yeah.
Before we go to break,
But before we go to break, we got to talk about the Red Wings and the Tigers.
We do.
So I'm not going to let you miss that.
8:15 at 8:15, we're going into the
Called you out live. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
All right, 8:15 Lions. We're going to just break the game down a little bit, go into some more things on that. 8:30 takeaways from that game. Broder and I have 3 takeaways. I told you to bring 3 and kind of compare them to our what was it that we did? Oh, our keys to victory, which I did, and I think you probably, some of ours were correct, actually. 8:45, we're giving away our game ball / Kool-Aid pitchers. 9 o'clock, we're going to talk. I have a question. This is kind of a Booner question in here. Another, I'm like 6 for 6 on these, so I put it in a Booner question there. 9:15, we're going to actually, college football playoffs. Rankings, Michigan, Alabama. We're going to talk about that.
This combo is hot.
Take a little pivot there. 9:30 overreaction Monday around the NFL. 9:40 the state of the Detroit Lions. We do that after every win.
Presidential.
We do that after every win. Injury update. So real quick, Dan Campbell did talk today to the media. Correct me on anything I said. Frank Ragnow right now probably not going to play this next week, but injury is not as bad as they thought it was. It is more of a positive note. Number 2, who was the second guy that we spoke about?
Ali McNeil.
Ali McNeil potentially missing this week as well. He didn't really give much of an update besides he may be out for this week. And then the third one, obviously, you guys all want to know, Alex Anzalone. It sounded like he was most likely to play this week. He said we may be expecting him back. He potentially could be back versus the Chicago Bears. So Anzo, we could potentially be seeing here soon versus the Chicago Bears. You got another one?
I do. Not on the Lions or the Saints, but the legendary sideline judge who we all thought, I definitely thought he just snapped his leg in half. He broke his leg. He just dislocated I say that, he just dislocated his knee, doesn't need surgery. What an epic comeback made of steel.
We need to get confirmation on that, because I thought I saw that tweet that you saw, and then I saw another tweet like that JPA football or ML football, like those, they tweeted out and said that he may need surgery in the next couple weeks. So
okay.
I was like, I don't know, because on the morning show I put in there, I was like, he doesn't need surgery, and then I saw that tweet, and then I was like, wait a second.
Regardless, the fact that his leg didn't, like how it looked, the fact that he's unbreakable.
Jeff said
like
this on the morning
Denzel.
show. Can I throw out just one comment that was on the stream that we were doing? Someone said this is bad. Someone said his leg took a slant route. I was like,
I've seen some crazy stuff, like a 360 no scope on Call of Duty with some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, it was unneeded.
How about them, boys? Back to back to back. The Michigan Wolverines, Big Ten champions. I don't know if that was brought up yet.
Go. No, we're talking about that at 9:50. We're getting in depth. We're getting in depth.
Let's do this, though. Red Wings. Talk about Red Wings here real quick, fellas.
5 and 6.
5 out of the last 6. Currently 3rd in the Atlantic Division. Patrick Kane, I believe, is actually making his debut on Wednesday versus versus Buffalo. I spoke with Gentry, and he said I think the next game he's supposed to be making his debut.
Love that.
So I don't know if that's confirmed, but he said he thinks that's when it is. That's a little Woodward Sports Insight. I think.
They've had so many games in the last stretch that they haven't even had a chance to really get him in practice, get them all together. So that was a little bit why this has been delayed a little bit longer, but it is looking like Wednesday against, who's it against?
So Tuesday.
Buffalo.
Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday's
Okay,
a game
tomorrow?
at Buffalo. It's got to be either that game or hosting the Sharks on Thursday.
No, I believe it is Tuesday. From what I heard from our Red Wings insider, Gentry, he told me yesterday when we were sitting here doing the pregame show, he said Buffalo he should be playing, which it could change for sure, but from what he's heard, it may be Buffalo. They've been on a run right now. And
they've
the
been
fact
buzzing.
That now they're adding Patrick Kane to it.
So much buzz.
Man, a little upper decky there, man.
Yeah, Jake Wallman with the upper decky gritty Zinni popper.
Did he hit the gritty after?
Did he? Well, on his first goal of his career, he did.
No, Wallman hit the gritty after his game winner on Saturday.
I didn't see that replay.
In overtime, Clapper.
He was who I learned the gritty. The first time I ever saw the gritty was on ice. It was Jake Wallman. His first ever goal last year, I believe.
You were there?
I wasn't there, but I was like, how is this guy dancing so well on skates?
I can't even
Jalen,
skate.
did you see a video of that?
No, I didn't on skates.
Yeah, it was on skates after the game
I
winner.
didn't see that one.
So
Is he the first hockey player to do that?
Yeah, I think so. And he's done it twice now after 2 game winners.
Last thing.
That's crazy.
On the intro, we have a new Hall of Fame member of the Detroit Tigers organization. I'm going to give him a little clap. I got to put my Tigers hat back on. Jimmy Lee. Legend. I love he's going into the Hall of Fame as a Tiger.
I love it.
He's got a championship with the Marlins, but he's a Detroit Tiger. Man, it's great to see him. Baseball was fun with him in Detroit.
Oh,
I have a new respect for media after going back and watching some old clips of his. He's a tough cookie. You hear some Ryan Romani stories. Jim Leland was awesome.
Read some stories on Twitter of him. It's unbelievable.
Great guy, man.
Oh yeah, and he's been on E&E a few times too. He was just on a couple months ago.
Yeah, he might be on tomorrow.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's what Maz
maybe
was
we
saying.
should ask I'm going to ask Maz. Hey, can we get Jim Leland?
We'll get him next year.
Maybe we'll get Jim Leland. Maybe we have to let a couple months go by.
I'm going to get Chris Fetter
All right,
before we go.
I love it.
That was my senior.
Who was?
Yeah.
No
He
way.
was a senior when I was a freshman. He's the dude.
Let's do it then. Come on.
Let's go.
All right, when we come back, let's go to break real quick. Let's keep this thing on track here. When we come back from break, we're going to break down this game. Lions won 33-28 in New Orleans, and we'll just start breaking that game down. We have 2 segments here, our takeaways, and kind of breaking that down. But before that, look at this beautiful hair. I need a haircut really bad. I might grow a mullet out. I need to know what the people want to know about that. I might start just getting a cut here on the sides.
No.
Over at Lady Jane's, though, Haircuts for Men, an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like a landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market. It's in Shed 5, and it's a bash always. Starts at 9:30, runs up until game time, and you have the chance to come hang out with us, your friends here at Woodward Sports Network. We got tons of food, drinks, entertainment, all included. Just get your ticket at bullseyeeventgroup.com.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all of you guys locking in here. Monday night, Victory Monday, and we're off and rolling here. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Let's get the likes up a little bit. Tell a friend about the show. Tell the people that Woodward Nights, they're here. Victory Monday, we're talking about it. Broder, let's just get right into this game, though. Lions, obviously, they won 33-28. Kind of down the stretch there, sorry, my water. Down the stretch there, they really, to be honest, it got a little nerve-wracking at a bit, but me and you kind of spoke about this before the show, to where it felt like every time that the Saints started to respond a little bit or started to push on them a little bit, the Lions responded. And that's kind of out of a football team, especially a 9-3 football team, that's at least what you want to see.
Yeah.
And you want to see some adversity, because you're going to go through it in the playoffs. You're going to go through it this next couple weeks when you play the Broncos, Dallas, Vikings on the road, and even the Bears this week on the road. And the fact that they responded to it, because the last couple weeks, they didn't really respond to it to where you kind of at that level of a 9-3 team. So that's kind of the thing where I'm at with this game. Is I'm just happy that they're at 9 wins, and that's all it comes down to me. There's a lot of different sides to this of people both ways. I know Jalen came in and was like 9-3. It was not. It was ugly, and he did. In my notes, Jalen did say.
Let me tell him.
He did say real quick. He said, "I know they weren't going to win 60-0, but you're up 21-0." And I literally in my notes I said, "You weren't going to win 60-0." So that's where I'm at. And I know Jalen wasn't happy that they came back, but at the end of the day, you're playing in the National Football League. This is a tough football league. The Saints they're competing for a division title right now. You're on the road, and if anyone wants to check me on this, one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. In my opinion, the Superdome is one of the toughest places to play in the NFL. So the fact that, yes, you did something that probably one or two NFL teams did all year, and you scored 21 points in 7 minutes, but it was going to end up being a game no matter what, because you're on the road in the National Football League. You're at the Superdome, one of the hardest places to play in the NFL, and you're going up against 3 different quarterbacks as well. So like, it was a lot of different things, and we already knew what this Saints defense was going to be, Broder.
Yeah. No, I think I'm going to let Jalen give his perspective, because I think it's similar to a lot of people, and
it's like half and half around like Lions Nation right now.
Yeah, I'd rather just hear it from your mouth, Jalen.
That's crazy.
Why?
Well, to my defense,
somewhere else?
We're 9-3 right now. I'm not mad about that. We got our asses whooped on Thanksgiving in a way. We came back at the end, but we got punched in the mouth. So my whole thing is, I said on Twitter, that wasn't a statement win for me. Like, a win is a win in the record book, but the Saints aren't good. I don't care they're not good. They're not a team that you should be scared about. Playing down there, in Louisiana in the Dome, it's very hard. So I get that, but we scored 21 points in the first 7 minutes of the game, right? They weren't doing anything different. Taysom Hill was the reason why we couldn't do much. Not the quarterback, Taysom Hill, right? I don't think that game should have been within 14 points.
Fair.
It is no reason why we couldn't score, 14 more points in the first half. We played a little conservative with the play calls, and I was getting upset about that, because with the Lions, we're a great team, but we never keep our foot on the gas. And I feel like that's going to be an issue come January.
See, that's where I go the complete opposite way.
Let me finish it, though. Let me finish the take, though. You were up 21-0, and you only scored how many more points?
You got to 33.
12.
Yeah, 12 more points.
That's ridiculous. I don't.
But there is a but to it.
It's a but it's just like, we never can just like put teams away. It's always that one quarter where we just kind of like, relax a little bit. And
this time it was 3 quarters.
Yeah, and like and contending teams don't do that. And we're still learning as a team, but I wasn't as impressed with the win, because it shouldn't have been that close. We shouldn't have had to wait until the last play of a drive to determine that game. That game should have been won at halftime.
I can appreciate that. I do think the looking on the other side of things, the Lions didn't play as good as they did those first 7 minutes, which were incredible. But throughout the entire game, even when the Saints were challenging them, they never let the Saints get a lead. They never let them come all the way back and take the lead, where then they're now playing from behind. Yes, it was ugly. There are a lot of things that they need to improve on, they need to clean up on. But the fact that anytime that the Saints really cut it close, they managed to pull away a little bit more, whether it was that field goal or that touchdown. And then when they needed to, they made a play at the end and won the game. And you got to think, too, if Brian Branch doesn't tip that ball, that pass from Jameis Winston that was tipped by Brian Branch, headed right in the hands of Jerry Jacobs, landed in the hands of Chris Olave, hypothetically, if Jerry Jacobs gets that and either takes it back to the house, which may have been tough from like the 5-yard line, or they just drive down and get another touchdown, this game is closer to a 14-point win.
So this is where I'm kind of I'm half and half here with Jalen on this, to the point to where, yes, like, you're up 21-0, yeah, you should finish that game and you should go out there and win that game by double digits. Yes, I agree with that. And yes, I saw someone in the chat here. Who was it? Steve-O Baby. He said, Booter, you got to realize, man, with the defense, like the Detroit Lions, you aren't going to win any playoff games. Listen, and I understand on this side, because if you guys watched the show the last 2 weeks, I have been very passionate about this defense being very, very inconsistent and kind of not going at AG, but saying, hey, at some point you got to make sure this defense gets consistent or you're going to lose in the playoffs. And that's been a thing. And I've been the Booner Path guy saying, hey, this is a team that can go compete for a Super Bowl. And this defense the last 2 weeks, to me, has showed me that takes it away right now. Now, that's where I'm with Jalen, to where it's like this defense, you can't give up, 28 points in the last 3 quarters.
Correct.
You can't, your offense, you can't only have 12 points in the last 3 quarters. But at the end of the day, and I think this is too, Jalen, to your point as well, I think you kind of agree with the point to where this Detroit Lions team, they did go on a stretch at one point this year where they won 4 straight games by 14-plus points. That is something in the NFL that's extremely hard to do. And it's hard to go out there. Like, and this is I've been saying this to some people who have been talking about the Lions not finishing this game strong. It's like, if you guys want to look at me in my eyes and tell me that this is last year's Vikings team, you're dead wrong. This is not last year's Vikings team that won 11 one-possession games. Because the Lions have won 9 football games, and only 4 out of those 9 have been one possession. They've won 5 of their games by more than one possession this year. So take that whole thing out of there. All those people on Twitter and all these people who are like, oh, this Detroit Lions, this is the Vikings of last year. Wrong. It's completely wrong. This team has won 5 football games by 2 possessions. They have dominated some teams, and most of the time it's the teams you're supposed to dominate. The last 4 weeks, Broder, they have struggled. And to Jalen's point, when you have these, and Dan Campbell spoke about it he had a press conference last night and today, spoke about it both times, to where we need to figure out these adjustments that we're making. We can't have one, 2, or 3 quarters be good and 1, 2, or 3 not be great. We cannot have that. And if you want to win in this league, in the playoffs, you have to find a way to do it. And I think that's what it comes down to. Like, this full game here was, we have not seen this Detroit Lions team put a full, and we've talked about it every week, I feel like, is we have not seen this team put, 1, all 3 phases of the game together, and then 2, haven't seen them put a full game together.
Yeah,
It's
and they're
been
9-3.
3 or 4 quarters.
They're 9-3.
And Jalen too. That's to where I think we can find common ground on this. Is you're still 9-3, and they still have not found a way to do that. If they can somehow find a way to become, like, if AG can find a way to get consistent just a little bit, or they can find a way to put just any sort of football game together, this team could be really damn good.
Yeah.
But they just haven't done it. And I don't know how they have not yet, because they did for a 3 or 4 game stretch.
The NFL is hard. There are very good
man.
teams. I mean,
That's what separates the elite from the great and the great from the good.
Yeah, it's designed to have everyone right there in the middle battling for the same spot, and just the fact that even when you want to bring Aiden Hutchinson into this, there's been a lot of people who are down on Aiden Hutchinson today that I've seen in the chat, all over, not just our chat, all over sports media, all over Twitter. Imagine what the Lions would be like if he did have 10, 11, 12 sacks. But without that, they're still 9-3. So there's room for improvement. And I do see them making improvements. The defense is an issue that I worry about.
I think everyone should be worried about the defense right now.
Yeah, if anyone isn't, I'd have a hard time believing that. But that's why I'm glad we're going through some adversity now in the middle of the season, learning how to win games, learning how to figure it out with different people stepping up. Like Anzalone was out. Frank Ragnow went out. We talked about some of these guys, other guys, rookies, vets, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. People had to step up, and that means something. That goes a long way, especially when you're getting into the playoff times. You want an offensive line that can help carry you through the playoffs. Then you want your guys to know how to win close games, know how to win tight ones on the road, know how to deal with that adversity, and that's what they went through. Yes, Aaron Glenn and that defense, they got to improve. They got to figure out a way. But without figuring that out yet, they're 9-3.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, how often do we talk leading into this year? If they could go from the, 29th rated defense to middle of the pack, like this team's a playoff team and has a chance. That's where they are. It doesn't always look good.
We're going to talk about this defense later.
Yeah, sorry.
I think it's about getting consistent. It's about finding consistency, and that's the issue I've had with AG. I do want to shout out to you real quick, and I already shouted out Bruce Irvin. J-Mo, though, huge. He looks, he's a playmaker. And I know this show we've had this argument with Flannel Sam, so I think it's fine for us to kind of have a little comment on it. But Jameson Williams yesterday, that one play he had, he's starting to show a little bit, and I think this offense is starting to set up to where Ben Johnson's able to start using him more, and he knows it.
Yes.
And I think you saw it yesterday. They're going to find different ways to set it up. Jared Goff spoke about that and said that they've had this in the work. Like some of these, they have all these plays for JMO set up.
Oh, yeah.
And now they're starting to be able to use them and set teams up. And
I got some stuff to talk about that later in the show.
Domination. All right, let's hit break up. When we come back, we're going to compare. We had our keys to victory on Thursday when we did the show. We're going to kind of go now to our takeaways, our 3 takeaways of the game, kind of comparing a little bit to our keys to victories. Not a ton, but I have a couple comparisons here. But let me tell you guys about the Woodward Sports Alliance pregame show. Make sure you guys check that out. That is with the one, the only, Jeff Iafrady from 9:30 to 11:30 on Sundays. I'm usually on the desk. Make sure you guys tune into that from 9:30 to 11:30 every Sunday for the breakdown of every single Lions game. And then over at Big Boy, it is wintertime in Detroit. It is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmesan or the new Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl. And how about some breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. The classic lumberjack, Santa Fe Garden, and also the new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. Top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Make sure you stop over by your local Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Brace yourselves, Detroit, as the sun begins to set. 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand, you offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust. They're located on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. You can also check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today. So find the brand you want at lesstanford.com. Oh, yeah.
All right, welcome back.
We back.
Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in here. Make sure if you haven't yet, hit that like button for us. Tell a friend about the show. We're still growing here, and tonight we're fighting against the NFL, Monday Night Football.
Whatever.
Jags, Bengals. It looks like Christian Kirk just got a groin injury. Loreno, I'm not answering that, Loreno. I see what you did there. You're trying to set me up here.
More mad as Les Stanford.
Yeah. Did you see that question?
Yeah.
I'm not answering it.
Yeah. Hey.
All right. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I want to show you guys a quick video here before we get into our takeaways in regards to this Lions game. Me and Broder each brought 3. Dan Campbell did speak to the press last night in regards to this win, kind of what it meant for the team and just kind of how he felt after it. Because I know a lot of people might be a little worried on how they won and in the comeback a little bit. Dan seemed pretty positive about it. He seemed positive. So here's Dan on last night's win.
That was a heck of a win. It's not easy to come in this place and win. That's a prideful team, and they came out and fought. And I love the way we came out early in this game. And, and then they made some adjustments. Then we had to make some adjustments. And I was proud of our defense getting 2 takeaways. I thought Sam Laporta, man, was huge today for us. I thought he was he really, really made some huge plays. I thought we did a great job taking care of the football. Got 2 takeaways on defense. That's got to be our recipe. And I thought, Goff there at the end, that was a critical pass, and Reynolds on the catch. So just a number of things. Not easy. It's not easy to win. But here we go, man. We got 9 wins with 5 to go. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. All right, there you had it from Dan. I think Dan kind of feels how we do, Broder. It's, hey, you still have 9 wins in the National Football League. You have 5 more wins to go. You have the potential. I mean, if you go win out, you're going to sit there with 14 wins in this league. So I think he's kind of looking at it the same way. Like, hey, we just got out of a road game, and he's been in New Orleans. He was in New Orleans for a while.
And I think Woodward Nights would be his favorite Woodward show.
I agree.
I just have that feeling.
We do have a Lions player that knows Woodward Nights.
True. Multiple.
Yeah. Really?
Come on.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought
but you know, Dan Camp, this would be his type of show.
Oh yeah, there's a rumor out there that he wants to have a beer with Booner.
That's what they say.
He's all about grit too.
That's what they say.
Just a rumor out there. I have a hat, a grit hat. I just saw it when I was leaving my house today. I was I have that hat. Forgot about it.
Well, Booner, what about your takeaways?
All right,
what
first
do you take
one.
from that?
I'm sure you know my first one. Everyone knows my first one. I didn't say it for weeks when we did our game notes. Or our
Is this? Did you set up takeaways for a reason?
Takeaways, baby.
Is that what you're going with?
It is takeaways, turnovers,
Huge.
and more turnovers. They ended up, and again, this isn't just getting turnovers. This is taking care of the ball on the offensive side of the ball. Something that Jared Goff did not do for 2 or 3 weeks, where he had 6 or 7 of them. So that is what I'm going with. I said that is for weeks on end, when the Lions were winning a ton of football games, I kept saying, win the turnover battle. And guess what? I stopped saying it, and they lost the turnover battle for 2 weeks. So I went back to it on Thursday, and they came in on Sunday, and they listened. And they went and won the turnover battle. Brian Branch, a little whoop, got a little interception there. Beautiful interception. And then I think it was it Josh Pascal that forced the fumble? Who was it that forced the fumble?
It might have been. Tracy Walker recovered it. I think it was Pascal who forced it.
I think Pascal might have forced it. But that was a huge play as well.
Huge.
And off of both of those turnovers, Detroit Lions went and got a touchdown. The second one, J-Mo went and got his touchdown there. So it set the Lions up. Just like the last 2 weeks when we kept having those turnovers and we kept giving the other team short fields, we're giving ourselves a short field. Defense stepped up, did that. On the opposite side of it, Broder, Jared Goff took care of the football. I didn't know if you guys noticed this. Every time he got hit or was about to get hit, guess what he did? He tucked that ball away so tight. I've never seen him tuck the ball away that tight in his 6-7 year career. He knew exactly what he needed to do, pulled the ball in, held on for his dear life, and did not let any fumbles out. And he threw passes and no passes. There was one that was almost picked off, and that was not on. It was on Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it surprised me to say that he just dropped a clear ball and it went right through his hands, almost to a defender. So he played a hell of a game as well.
No, he tugged that tight like a loose asshole in the chat. What did I say is one of the keys to the game? I said they need to score first.
Yep.
I think they did that. I think they did that
3 times
in bunches. And to be honest, Dan Campbell said that in his press conference today. That won him the game. Like that lead set them up. They didn't play that well for the next 3 quarters, but that won them the game. My second key to the game was wrong. I said they need to win in the red zone, both sides of the ball. They actually struggled. The New Orleans Saints, they were money in the red zone.
Oh my gosh, 5 for 5 or 4 for 4 or whatever it was.
Something like that. And it was 0 for 7 the last couple weeks out. It was crazy. That's somewhere where they need to get better in the red zone. I thought they were better than the stats say, just because we've seen a couple goal line stands like the LA Chargers where it was like a 6-7 play goal line stand that they ended up giving up a touchdown, but played well in the goal line. No, they got some issues. They got to figure out what to do there. And then we both said the last one, make life difficult for Derek Carr. I think our boy Bruce Irvin
think they did it.
Made it difficult. Although, during the game, I actually thought Derek Carr was better when he was under pressure.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought he was making more plays. He was more accurate when he had a little chaos around him. But
do you hear what Bruce Irvin said? I think it was him that said it. He played, I think, with Derek Carr for a little bit in Vegas. Or wherever, I think it might have been the Raiders, and he said he kind of knew him, and he kind of knows that as soon as he's under pressure, that's when he some quarterbacks can handle it, not turns it on, but that's when he folds. And like when you saw that big hit on him, like Bruce Irvin mentioned, like that's what I knew kind of his game, to where anytime you get a little bit of pressure on Derek Carr, he does force the ball a little bit, and he struggles. And you saw there, in the last 3 games, I think he ended up coming out of the game hurt.
Yeah, well, if Bruce Irvin knew that, he needs to not drive him into the ground so he stays in the game.
That was definitely a lot of people say that wasn't a penalty. The new NFL rules, that is a penalty.
It was a penalty for sure. But Booner, my first takeaway, I want to pose a question to you. Do you trust Jared Goff in crunch time?
Oh, yes.
I do too.
Yeah, I mean he's proven it.
To me, Jared Goff is clutch.
Yeah.
I don't worry when we need plays down the stretch. I feel confident with Jared Goff having the ball. I know it's different, Coach Walk. I'm sorry, man. I know you're not a huge Goff fan, but I trust him. I think Jared Goff is actually clutch. He's proved it over the course of the season, and his bad games weren't about – he didn't struggle down the stretch. In fact, in the Bears game, he actually played really well down the stretch. It's during the game where he has some – maybe it's focus issues or his turnovers. It wasn't like that today. He made all the plays, stepping up in the pocket when pressure is coming, both on the ball that David Montgomery dropped on that big 3rd and 10, also the one to Sam Laporta at the end of the game, and then Josh Reynolds. He took a lick.
I will say this.
Pinpoint accuracy.
Every time it feels like the Lions this year, outside of maybe the Seahawks game, the Ravens game out of it, the Packers one, we were just behind the whole time. It was trying to come back. Every time it felt like the Lions need either a first down or a touchdown to go clinch the game and kind of end it and put a nail in the coffin. It feels like a Jared Goff to St. Brown, a Jared Goff to Laporta, a Reynolds.
You're just confident he's going to get it.
He ends up finding someone and gets someone open, and they end up putting the nail in the coffin. That's why they've won 17 of what? 17 of the last. They're like 17-5 in their last 24 or whatever it is.
It's ridiculous. That's a Super Bowl win.
Yes.
Super Bowl resume.
17 wins.
I'll say.
Since they started 1-6 last year, 17 wins. That is insane. That's a full season of wins. So that's where, to me, it's every time that you needed them to clinch a game and finish a game off. Jared Goff, there has been times where you're out of a game because he's turned the ball over, and that's some of a couple of those 5 losses that you've had in that stretch are on him. And that's just a fact. So there is that other bad side to it. About 17/5, I would take that. I want to go in. I have 2 more here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember. I think that this one I did say last week to my keys to victory, but the offensive line.
Yeah.
They stepped up in a big way. The bounce back, especially when Frank went down and Graham had to move over, they still kept things rolling. Jonah Jackson stepped up. Like, these guys all stepped up in big ways. They established. I said it when the keys to victories. When you have an offensive line, especially when that's your number one thing with a guy like Jared Goff, it helps these running backs out. It helps Jared Goff out. It helps Sam Laporta do what he did. And it all comes together. That's what this offense is the number 2 offense in the NFL. Mm-hmm. It's because of this offensive line, and they did that yesterday.
How about this? Jonah Jackson, when he plays and he starts, when he plays, the Lions are 6-1. They average 147 rush yards per game. When he's out,
that was this year.
Yep. When he's out, they're 3-2. They average 120 rush yards per game. Jonah Jackson is an important man on that offensive line, and we saw him. I don't want to diminish the importance of Frank Ragnow because Graham Glasgow filled in pretty admirably, and it was Colby Sorsdale that a lot of the pressure was coming from after Ragnow went out. But having Jonah Jackson there still makes life so much easier. I know they didn't have their best game on the ground against the Saints yesterday, but when they needed it, when they wanted to, that offensive line was moving the Saints backwards, and that's what you want to see. What was your third takeaway?
Third one here, and it doesn't have to all be sunshine and rainbows and positive things here. My third one is the defense. It's a negative one. The defense, giving up the 28 points in the last three kind of quarters there. There's got to be something done there. And I spoke with Easy, and Easy actually, he's an AG guy, and he came out today and said, yeah, maybe there is a little bit of a concern. And all I think it is, this is what I think it is, Broder.
What?
It's just inconsistency.
Yeah.
Because
I'm always fucking
AG has shown you that he can put a defense on the field. He has shown you he can scheme up. There were times yesterday where he sent the house and you got to Derek Carr and they got nothing. But the inconsistency comes to where you're it felt like we got pressure yesterday and your secondary couldn't get stops and they couldn't defend. Your safeties, I don't know if I was the only one that felt like the safeties were late to everything. And usually Tracy and Kirby and Branch, like usually those guys are on point.
Yeah.
But even last week versus the Packers, it felt like they were late. And it felt like, and I don't know if that's they're overcompensating to one side. I don't know what it is. But it just felt like yesterday you finally got a little bit more pressure with Bruce Irvin and other guys. I said, little fire under some guys. And some guys stepped up a little bit.
Yeah, I think they were overzealous in the run game, or looking out for Alvin Kamara, maybe Taysom Hill
like
too, because they were actually pretty good in tackling once they were coming up in the box. But you're right, they weren't always there in the pass game.
In the last few weeks, and I love Kirby. And I've been calling for him interceptions. I called it a couple weeks ago and got it. I love Kirby. But the last 2 weeks, he's just been late on so many different coverages over top. And when, like, Cam Sutton, he needs to rely. Jerry Jacobs needs to rely on these guys, and it just feels like they've been late. And I think it's just the inconsistency. I don't know, like AG you have to get this defense back to where it was to start the year. Because I went back to some of my takeaways from the first couple weeks, and this Detroit Lions defense, a couple weeks in the season, they were a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
I always keep saying they were top 10 at a point. I went back and looked at some notes and some stats. They were top 5 at one point this year.
Yeah.
They had top 5 offense and a defense. So AG can do it. You have to get back to that, and that's where I'm at with this.
What confuses me the most is when the injury or the inactives list comes out, and we see so many ends and defensive tackles, Braddock Martin, Buggs, Levi, all like when your personnel is a little weaker than your opponent, or you don't have the type of talent to just consistently win one-on-one battles, I would think you need to load up that defensive line with as many bodies as can, and just use a rotation to just keep them as firing on as 100% with as much energy as possible, as often as possible, instead of sitting those guys. I don't fully understand what's going on with that defensive line.
And Big M here said other teams have figured out AG's defense.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if that's it. And as well as adjustments have been in-game adjustments. Just nothing seems to change. So there's just things that need to be worked out, and it has to happen. Rich Adams, Booner, we lost Emmanuel Mosley and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Rich, Emmanuel Mosley didn't play at all, and you were a top 5 defense in the NFL. He played one snap and got hurt, and you were still top 5 at that point. So, like, he has shown you can do it. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson got hurt in game 2. My notes, I think, were through game 3 or 4. So, they did it. They just got to get back to it. All right.
Talk about Woodward in Maine tomorrow morning.
Yes, tomorrow morning, 7 to 8 a.m. Make sure you guys check it out. Woodward in Maine, the Lions Insider Show with Gabrielle D. Phillips, our own Matt Broder, and Detroit legend Terry Foster. Make sure you guys check it out from Tuesdays, which is tomorrow, 7 to 8 a.m., and Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. All of the insider information you need for the Detroit Lions with our insiders. Make sure you guys check that out on the Woodward Sports YouTube page.
Also on Tuesdays, you can go to Dispo Romeo until midnight. They're open late Monday through Saturday on Dispo Romeo. They have a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere. They're mixed fresh inventory with Michigan's largest variety of products. They are the first ever cannabis mall of its kind, located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Again, open Monday through Saturday till midnight. Can it get any better than that? Nope. Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
How would you like to win a $100K Vegas getaway? Live it up in the city that never sleeps with your friends. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Again, Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste, so you can look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself. Enter now at drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas, baby.
Welcome back to the Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Lions, baby. Let's keep this ball rolling. If you guys haven't yet, smack that like button for us. For Dan Campbell, for Jared Goff, for Jamison Williams, for Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Aiden Hutchinson.
How about Sheila?
Sheila Ford Ham.
How about me?
For Broder. Hit that
you.
like button for us.
For
Come
Kelvin.
on. Kelvin Johnson, shout out. Who else you have? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Is that Steve Yzerman?
It's Sergei Fedorov.
Fedorov.
Yeah, Fedorov.
On,
but I went Amon-Ra on Kelvin Johnson today because Amon-Ra, with his 49 yards, passed Kelvin Johnson for most reception yards.
Is there a player you don't have in your collection?
Yes.
Jack Campbell.
I don't have Jake. I don't have a lot of the newer guys. I'm on the prowl.
Okay.
I have, the first line I really started collecting? DeAndre Swift.
Oh, man. R.I.P.
Yep, happened.
R.I.P. All right, let's do
Game
this.
balls, baby.
Game balls, Kool-Aid.
Game balls.
Kool-Aid pitcher, whatever we want to call it.
Shoot.
On this show. We're getting into it here. We each have one. Booner, or I just called myself Booner. I have one for offense, defense, special teams, and Broder did the same thing there. We actually had the same one for one of these. I'm not going to give it away. But, Broder, tell me your offensive one. You go first on this.
I feel weird going first with this one because you go first.
Want me to go first?
Yeah, because this is the real Kool-Aid drinker.
Yeah, I do drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh, the guy you're about to choose is a real Kool-Aid pitcher deserver.
He deserves it. This is the game balls of all game balls. Dan Campbell gave him the game ball for the game yesterday after in the locker room. But one of the best players in his position, Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
He deserves the game ball. Obviously, Dan Campbell gave it to him. 9 catches on 9 targets. No drop passes, 140 yards, a touchdown. He was elite. It felt like anytime you needed a play yesterday and the Detroit Lions needed something, Sam Laporta was the guy that stepped up. And I know the Heavies brought this stat up. He had like 213 yards, or Jared Goff did. 140 of them are to Sam Laporta. He feels very, very comfortable with Sam Laporta right now. If you guys remember a couple weeks ago, Sam Laporta spoke on, was it Kyle Long's podcast?
Chris Long.
Chris Long's podcast, and said,
Green light.
He literally said, hey, I told Jared Goff, I will be your security blanket. I promise you, no matter what happens, if you need someone to throw to, I will be where you need me to be, and I will not drop the pass. And he has been that guy. I know there's been a couple weeks where he's been down a little bit, but he's consistent. He's been very, very consistent, and this was his big breakout game to kind of put – he's already put the NFL on notice. He was already a top 4 wide receiver or tight end in the NFL. Took that next step. He is one of the best in the NFL, guaranteed. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Jalen, could you throw up the tweet? It's the one that has the Lions posted it. It's basically, it has like Justin Jefferson in it. It has all these wide receivers in it. There's kind of an insane stat here because this isn't just a stat based off tight ends. It's the Detroit Lions PR one, but he's the only player in NFL history to produce 60 receptions, 675 receiving yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns through their first 12 career games. Look at this list, Broder. This isn't just tight ends. This is there with Justin Jefferson, Michael Thomas, Odell, Marquise Colson, Anquan Bolden. These are elite players, not tight ends. These are elite weapons. And Sam Laporta is on that list. And I don't know if there's – I know we have to do other game balls and defense, offense, special teams. It's hard to just give him to anyone else because this man had such a dominant game.
And what a good spot to land in when you talk about all the tight ends on this coaching staff that he's surrounded with. Dan Campbell, Steve Hyden, Ben Johnson, the tight ends coach of the past. Just getting into this offense has been huge, but all credit to Sam Laporta. If I was tight end used, the Lions might be turning into tight end Inc., Incorporated, the professional version.
There you go, boy.
But it is Sam Laporta. I'm going to also give one to Jared Goff just to pick someone else too. Obviously, they started hot. Jared Goff made the plays when needed, and you got to give it to him. I'm going to keep this short because we got a lot of other guys to get to. But Jared Goff, down the stretch, made all the plays, and his pocket mobility was improved.
It is.
0 turnovers.
I saw someone, first of all, 2 things on Jared Goff. Saw one thing, someone tweeted out, I think it was Russell Brown, shout out. He's worked with the network before. He tweeted out, I think Jared Goff might be the 3rd best in the NFL this year at moving in the pocket. And he said he was shocked to see that, but he saw the stat that he was 3rd.
Yeah, people thought I was crazy when I talked about his pocket mobility. He's good in the pocket. It didn't look good the last 2 games, but he's good.
He knows when to move around. He knows when to get rid of the ball.
Yeah, he gets rid of it quick.
And also here, Jared Goff on 10-plus yard throws versus the Saints. So 10 or more yards, 7 for 11, 149 yards, a touchdown, and 137.5 passer rating.
And his balls were so big. Throwing that ball to Josh Reynolds.
Defense. I'll let you go first. Defense.
Yes.
Hit your defensive
I'm going to go with the Lee McNeil. And again, this is a little different than the guy who probably deserves it. You could consider people don't like Aiden Hutchinson. He actually had a deceptively really good game. He just didn't get a sack. But I'm going with Lee McNeil. He was the difference maker. We needed him in the middle of that defense in the interior. And although he struggled he was injured twice, and he might actually not play this weekend. But he was getting pressure. He was making huge tackles. That's the type of difference maker that this team needs out of a Lee McNeil to let the other guys do work. And they still got 2 sacks.
He's a big one too. If he ends up not playing and
Who
he
you
ends up
got?
hurt, that's a big one.
Yeah, for sure.
A loss. I'm going to go the rookie. I'm going to go Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
We talked about him all last week. We knew he was going to have the green dot. We knew what was going to happen, and it was just a matter of, is he going to be able to step up or is he not? And I mentioned, Broder, that the 3 missed tackles versus Chicago Bears or 2 missed tackles really put a bad taste in people's mouth. I think you were able to see yesterday what Jack is really about. He had 9 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and guess how many missed tackles he had?
How many?
0.0.
0.
Nothing. And Dan Campbell even spoke about, he even spoke on how well he did as well. And he even said him and Derek Barnes kind of shared the responsibility of the green dot. And just he had nothing but good things to say about that. I think it showed a little bit why you took him in the first round. A rookie to be able to step in that position on a team that's 9-3 and just kind of step up and say, hey, you're controlling this defense now. And to go out there and get 9 tackles. I did say on Thursday he was going to get 10. That was the bold prediction. 1 short.
Yeah.
It was right there.
1 short. Right there. Now, this is
I'll
where...
let you go the special teams here, and I'll just throw a couple. I have some stats.
So this is my guy. We brought him up in the past. You know, he doesn't always see the field. He doesn't always... His name's not always out there. But Jalen Reeves-Maben yesterday... He showed a lot of people how important he is to this team. Stepping in when needed. When Alex Anzalone is out, he stepped up, and I think he got about 20 snaps on defense. He got a ton of work on special teams, too. He played great. I think it was 6 sacks. There was 2 on defense, 4 on special teams. He had a QB hit, a pass deflection, the one on Alvin Kamara early in the game, which was a big play early in that game to get that momentum early. Jalen Reeves-Maben, he was everywhere on special teams, and I thought his energy made a difference in that game, early and often.
Yeah, it felt like every single time on punt return that he was getting the tackle.
Yeah.
Every single time. And if he wasn't, he was sliding in and he was like around the ball. On top of that, too, Dan gave him his props. He played in 20 snaps all season long so far on defense. All season long on defense, a combined of 7 snaps.
Wow.
And yesterday he played in 20. He doubled his season total, basically.
That's why they brought him back.
Yes, and that was something that Dan Campbell said was, we need to find a way to get him back on the field. Yeah. We need to find a way to get him more opportunities because yesterday what he did, it was unbelievable. It felt like we were sitting here at the watch party. It felt like every single play that needed to be made, it was just like, who was that? Oh, Germ. Like, here he goes again. Yeah. And he's just out there. He's all over the field. Shout out to him, man. That was a huge, huge game.
Remember opening night when we were talking about Khalil Dorsey? Seemed like he was always the first person down the field. He made all the tackles on punt and kick return.
Yep.
That's what it felt like with Jalen Reeves-Maben. And PFF named him the PFF Special Teams Player of the Week.
Shout out. Well deserved.
Yeah.
Very, very well deserved.
Also, I meant to bring it up when you were talking. Sam Laporta named the PFF Rookie of the Week. And he's on the Team of the Week is their tight end, as he should be.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
What a huge week for some of these guys.
What are some other guys? We got about 1 minute. Some of the other guys on our honorable mention list who could have been given one of these pitchers.
I have two honorable mentions that I put in here, and I know you added a couple more. First one I did Brian Branch.
Love it.
I just think it felt like he was back to that old Brian Branch. 7 tackles, pass deflection, interception. Just felt like that Brian Branch we saw first few weeks.
Yeah.
Back. Brian Branch is back all over the field. And then on offense, I did J-Mo. Our crew here, we have stuck up for J-Mo for weeks and weeks and weeks when other people were off of him. Getting in the end, got in the end zone. Not just that, but he is out there making plays, blocking. He does everything.
Yeah, do you think people believe me now of how explosive he can be, the type of weapon?
Did you see the play?
He'd up to 21 miles per hour on a 19-yard run. Usually, that's on 50-yard runs. They get it, near the end.
It was a 19-yard run, but he ran 20 yards back.
Yeah, he started the 35.
And still went and scored a touchdown.
Out of a rocket.
No one could touch him. He was just too fast. No one could touch him. Even if you tried to tackle him, he was going to run right through you.
Yeah. That was the fastest I've ever seen a football player run. He just gets going. It was insane how fast he was moving on that one.
No one was stopping him.
It was crazy.
I ain't lying. I'm going to throw Trevor Nowosi's name out there. I'm going to let you celebrate. Let's go, baby.
Trevor, shout out my guy, man.
He had, I think, the most snaps he's played this year. He did well. Yeah, he didn't rack up the stats, but Trevor Nowatzki, who was a practice squad linebacker who the Lions signed to their active roster because he was getting so much attention from other teams. So Trevor Nowatzki, pride of Saginaw Valley State.
Do you want me to throw something out there real quick?
Yeah, dude.
I think that was his first NFL game.
You actually might be right.
I think that was his first time he made the roster for a game.
So there you go, honorable mention.
I did see him around the ball a lot as well, coming in a little.
Good dude.
Yep. Shout out Trevor, man. Well deserved. Well deserved. All right, let's hit break. When we do come back, we're going to talk. I have this Booner question here for the people. I want to get your guys' opinions on it. But let me tell you about Hamlin Pub real quick. Which, great place. See those wings up there on the screen? I had those on Saturday for the college football pregame show.
Bomb-ass wings.
The best wings I've ever had. They were so good. If you ever wanted a bar where you are a regular, Hamlin Pub is the place. Make sure you guys check it out. 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying half-off pizza on a Thursday, game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games. Hamlin Pub is the place to be. Make sure you guys check it out. Visit the location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's hot chicken sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Do you have football on the brain?
Yeah.
I do. I do. Fall ushers in college and professional football. It's all we can think and talk about. It's also the perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance. So shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. So ask for Mark today. Go to SwissINS.com. Again, that's SwissINS.com, or call 248-800-4177.
All right, welcome back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you guys haven't yet, hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button for the boys here, for all of us. Let's get this thing over 75 likes. The heavies were at like 140.
Whatever.
If we can get up to 140, they did have Herman Moore on.
Good.
It was a great interview.
Legend.
Herman is a legend. If you guys didn't, after our show's over, go check out the Herman Moore interview.
Hit the like button if you like our show. How about that?
Hit that, baby.
Thank you.
Booner question, though. This is a segment. I've been bringing some questions here every few weeks. This one's coming off this game here because I want to know what's more concerning for Lions fans, because there's 2 routes we can go. We've been talking about how this game got broken down. What is more concerning to you, Broder? The Detroit Lions defense giving up those 28 points in the last 3 quarters, or this offense only scoring 12 points in that final 3 quarters? Which one will be more concerning to you? I feel like it's an easy answer, at least for me it is.
It is for me.
But I think it might be different for a few people, depending on who you ask this. But just breaking it down, you could go both ways on it, because yesterday the offense started to struggle a little bit. They had to punt a ton. But your defense gave up 28 points. So what side are you going with here?
Oh, it's defense. It's defense for sure. I worry about the offense if more offensive linemen go down, if there are significant injuries on that offensive line. I think they can manage with one big loss. I'm talking Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, and Penei Sewell. I think Graham Glasgow is the perfect guy to fill in where you need, but it's then whether it's Colby Sorsdale, Yodi. I don't know if I have the confidence yet, but without a doubt, it's the defense. They're still not getting pressure. Aiden Hutchinson still isn't getting sacks, although he's playing well. No one on that other side is doing it. They're not winning their one-on-ones. Bruce Irvin, this could be a bright spot. I don't want to overreact to a good 11 snaps, but they were a good 11 snaps. 1 sack, almost one other one, and even that Derek Carr play, you don't want to see anyone get injured. You don't want to see a flag, a penalty in that situation. But that was a pretty athletic play. It showed he's still got some juice in him.
Yeah.
It just didn't turn. It wasn't the right outcome of that play. But without a doubt, it's that defense. If you can't get pressure and you don't have elite secondary, you don't have elite cornerback specifically, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
You're going to have problems. Once you get in the playoffs, they're going to be good, complete teams that have weapons on the outside and an elite quarterback, whether that's Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers, whether it's Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, or the Dallas Cowboys, who are arguably playing not better than the 49ers, but Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are playing as good as any. They're right up there with Tua and Tyreek, maybe Brock Purdy and Deebo Samuel just from yesterday.
And
so, yeah, defense.
I thought defense was going to be actually just everyone says that. Tyler Chavez, though, he said offense is more concerning because that's where all our money and talent is. He said our offense shouldn't sputter like that with the weapons that we have and the O-line that we have. So there is a side to it where people may look at that 12 points, and especially when you look at the punt, like you just kept having to punt. It felt like Jack Fox was on the field a lot. I'm going to switch, though.
I like that.
I'm going to go defense as well.
Okay.
I know we don't want to do 2 on one side, but I kind of agree with you here because when I look at this as well, the Saints yesterday had 23 first downs. That's a ton. They had 360 total yards, which is more than the Detroit Lions.
That's a lot.
And in the red zone, they were 4 for 4. And we spoke about how in the past, the Saints in the red zone have been one of the worst teams in the NFL. But your defense gave up 4 for 4 when it came down to it. So that is where I think the issue is. It's more so very concerning. And you know how I know it's concerning? Because the AG defenders are taking a step back and going, okay, yeah, there is a little bit of an issue because you shouldn't give up 28 points in 3 quarters like that.
Yeah.
And especially when your offense was buzzing a little bit, because it does deflate your offense a little bit when your defense is giving up points and giving up points. It deflates them a little bit. And it's the same thing on the opposite side. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I do think with the offense, though, you can argue, the 12 points, but Broder, even after a game like yesterday or a game versus the Packers, go look at these stats. The Lions are still 4th in the NFL in scoring. They're still 2nd in the NFL in yards per game. And they're still one of the most explosive offenses with Jamison Williams, St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery.
Ben Johnson's fine.
I think they're just fine.
Teams are just starting to adjust to him a little bit. They're making adjustments, which is partly what we want to see AG do on the other side of the ball. But to talk about the offense, I'm not worried about Ben Johnson at all, but there have been stretches where they've been a little stagnant. They've gone a little conservative. Like after that 21-point lead, they took their foot off the pedal instead of continuing to jam it down their throat. But in the last 5 games, they're still putting up points. As ugly as this has been, the last 5 games, which goes back to the Vegas Raiders game, the offense is averaging 32 points per game. That's 26 points against the Raiders, 41 against the Chargers, so that brings it up a little bit, 31, 29, 33. The last 3 games, you want to take the Chargers game out of it, they're still averaging 31 points. And arguably, their 3 worst games. I mean, I don't know if you want to put the Saints in one of their worst games, but the Bears and the Packers were pretty bad.
Yeah.
They scored 31 points and 29 points. I don't think their offense is a problem at all.
I want to do some math here real quick.
Do some math.
Since the
New math.
Oh my gosh.
Like Bo Burnham.
Since the Raiders game.
Tough. Yeah.
I want to put this in perspective with this offense here.
As cool as the
if
other
anyone,
side
if
of the
anyone
pillow.
wants to go at Ben Johnson in the last 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or maybe I just did the math wrong. Let me redo that. Broder, give me one more second.
No, do it. I'll double down on my point about the offensive line. And this is actually what I worry about San Francisco, and I think it was, who just wrote something about the 49ers? Tyler Chavez. San Francisco is nasty when they're healthy, when they're all healthy. I do worry about them. If any one of their weapons are taken out of the game, whether that's McCaffrey injury, Debo injury, Trent Williams, there's something that happens. Purdy doesn't have all those at his disposal. Things change. Kyle Shanahan changes his play calling. I worry about them fully healthy. They're not the most elite team in the NFL when they're missing one of their big-time weapons.
No, and we can break this down with the offense. I see people in the chat kind of talking about the offensive line. The Lions, last 5 games, guess how many points per game they're averaging in the last 5?
32.
32 points per game.
I just told you that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's the math I was doing?
That's all, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was so locked in on doing the math. I didn't
You're
hear
thinking
you
while
say
I was
that.
talking.
I was sitting over here doing math.
Yeah.
I had my calculator out on my phone. I'm sitting here doing the math, and you said it for me. But
You
that's
know
just
what?
nuts.
Let me hit that.
32 points per game. That's great in the NFL right now. I don't even know how many teams in the NFL. I don't think there's one team in the NFL that's averaging throughout this year 32 points per game. Don't think there's one. And I'll pull it up here and double check. I think the highest may be. What is it here? I'm not going to even think about it because last time I did that, you got the correct answer before I even could do it. All right, no, that was elite. But you see what I'm saying? Is your offense, I think, even if there's a couple quarters that it struggles a little bit or you get a little too, you pull back a little bit, I still think this offense, when they're a full go, that's going to be the offense is going to be the bread and butter that helps you win a Super Bowl. That's what it is. It's the offense. This defense, 28 points in 3 quarters versus the Saints offense. Not good.
Saints offense without Rashid, without some of their weapons. Yeah.
That's not good. And I get Alvin Kamara's really good. Yeah. And I get it. But you still can't do that because when you go up against the 49ers, yes, your offense may be able to keep up with them. But if your defense is going to give up 35 points, you're just leaning on your offense way too much, and that's when things start to go wrong. And if they're not playing great, you're screwed.
That's why we talk about so often them playing a complete football game because we've actually seen stretches where the defense has played well when the offense hasn't. When Dane Campbell's turned it over on or gone for it on 4th and whatever, if they do a fake punt and give the other team the ball in the end zone, their defense has made some big stops, limiting the other teams when they get the good field position. The problem is it's not all happening together. The offense isn't clicking on all cylinders at the same time the defense is clicking. We see these games. I mean, this New Orleans Saints game is a perfect example of the offense looking elite, as good as any offense in the league, and then for 3 quarters, their defense doesn't look great. Their offense doesn't look great. Their defense isn't playing very well. The time needs to come soon where we see that full game put together, and I think it's coming. That's again why I like that they're battling through the adversity early in the season and winning. Like learning how to win is a real thing. It's something that especially a team, especially an organization that's so used to losing, you forget what it feels like to win. When you have a lead, what's it like? When a team like the New Orleans Saints are coming back and you feel that pressure coming from in, the same old Lions would have lost that game. That's where that's where a lose asshole starts getting tighter.
It's been like that all year too.
Yes.
Every time you think SOL's coming back, the brand new Lions step up and they end up finding a way to win. And it's like that yesterday. So you have a 21-point lead. They start to come back. Guess what? Respond. And it's been happening. Now, there are things. We say it all the time. There are things to fix. And that is every single team, maybe right now besides the 49ers, have things to fix. The Eagles just got embarrassed at home by the San Francisco 49ers. And guess what they did? They got Shaq Leonard. And I bet you what? They're going to practice this week, and they're going to find things to fix because they just gave up a ton of points and lost by 30 to the 49ers. And that just shook them a little bit. So every team has that. This defense, though, over the last 6 games, Broder, giving up 28 points per game. And I guess you could say maybe the offense, and this is that argument that me and Easy have had in the past, to where it's like, a pick 6 here and there, or the fumble pick 6, that kind of counts into that as well. But your team as a whole is giving up basically 29. It's 28.8 points per game in your last 6 games.
Yeah,
that's an issue,
and it is an eye test thing too. The reverse way. I use the eye test a lot.
That's one of the worst
to remind
in the NFL,
people that they're good. They're not passing the eye test on defense in the negative way. They're not into the quarterback, and that's something you have to do in the NFL.
Quick before we go to break, God hates cowards here. This first name that he put in there, I thought about this a couple weeks ago. J.J. Watt.
Oh, bring him home.
Bring J.J. Watt.
He's from Wisconsin, right?
Bring Sue in too while we're at it.
But he has been it's confirmed that he's been working out because he does go on the Pat McAfee show, and he's like, I'm still staying in shape.
He's pretty lean.
It's not that I don't think he might not want to play anymore, but if there's a team like the Detroit Lions who are like, dude, we are a edge rusher away from having a good defense.
That'd be elite.
Maybe him and Sue, you bring them in on a rental. That would be elite.
Bring them on.
Fellas, one thing I wanted to touch on before we go to break here. With that defense, I know it's not good enough, especially these last 6 games that you just said, Booner. But one thing that has been so big for them is getting the key stops when they need it in those games. From Kansas City to stop Patrick Mahomes from coming back all the way. from Chicago to get the ball back from Justin Fields in a game where it looks like we were going to lose. So they have stepped up key in a couple of big ways.
Yeah, that's what teams that make plays in the playoffs, that's what they do. And that's what the brand new Lions do, brother.
You know.
All right, let's hit break. When we come back, we're going to pivot just for one segment here. We're going to pivot to kind of college football here. College football playoffs, crazy kind of weekend with that. We've had arguments at Woodward here, people going back and forth in regards to it, and we're going to kind of break it down a little bit. I think a lot of us here are on the same page. Let me tell you guys, though, real quick about the Lions post-game show first. Make sure you guys tune into that. That is with Maz and Stick. After every single Lions football game, win, loss, whatever it is, they'll be taking calls. They'll be breaking the game down and drinking some Kool-Aid and doing my Kool-Aid celebrations, as always, on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. And then head over to Planet Fitness. It is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience, love this, squeaky clean gyms. Has tons of equipment, full body workouts in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of that for just $10 a month, no commitment. There's hundreds around the Metro Detroit area and thousands around the world. Make sure you guys check it out, where your fitness is essential.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. That means going to Premier Pet Supply, because they're hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. They got 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
All right, welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel and on woodwardsports.com. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like button for us here. Smack that like button for us, please. We're going to get this thing rolling here, though, real quick, Broder, because I want to use all of the 12 minutes we have left on the college football playoffs. There's been a lot of debating going on. Florida State, the first Power 5 team that has gone undefeated to get left out. Georgia lost one game in 3 seasons. They get left out. Ohio State, one loss this year, left out. A lot of things going on here. And I said it to you before the show. I felt like for the committee, it was just set up to be a lose-lose situation. This is why all along.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that they've had this 14 playoff for so long and they've never ran into this situation. But it feels like all along, this is why they're going from 4 to 12, is because you can have so many good football teams. And this was like the perfect year to show why they're switching.
Yeah.
Is that you have so many teams that, like the Georgia team, the Florida State team, that deserves to get in. They're probably able to get in, and it's just you have to leave someone out, and someone's going to get out, and someone's going to be mad. And that was like what I was saying before. Is like there was these arguments between people at Woodward in regards to it, and it's like no matter what would have happened, everyone was going to argue no matter what. If Florida State got in, people were going to argue that Alabama and the SEC should have got in. I'm under the impression here, to me, that with this college football playoffs, that it should have been it's the best 4 football teams in the country. And I get that it's kind of, to some people, it's like, hey, they went undefeated. I still think you go the best 4. And to me, and that's why, like Friday night, I tweeted out, that's why I said you put 2 SEC schools in. As much as people hate to say it, is Georgia to me is a top 4 team in that college football.
I thought you said they got it right.
They got a what?
I thought you said they got the 4 best teams.
No, I don't think they have the 4 best teams. I mean, I still think, and you guys already know on this show, I'm a huge Texas guy. Me and Jalen, week 1, we can go back and clip it. I've been on Texas all year. I still think Georgia, and I said it before this, and if you guys want to disagree or if Georgia and Texas were to play a game this week, Georgia would be favored. They're the better football team. So that's where it's like they didn't get the best 4 teams. I still think Texas is deserving of getting in. And the way it worked out, it's just that's how it worked out. Someone's going to get left out. But
it's tough. I think they got it right, but I also think Florida State deserved to get in. You know what I'm saying? I get both arguments. This is a better Final Four for viewership. It's going to be better games. They don't want another TCU matchup in the national championship.
Or Cincinnati.
I have a hard time as a college athlete. I get the anger that Mike Norvell from Florida State has, and those players got to feel like you literally did everything you were supposed to set yourself up. Their schedule wasn't the hardest. It wasn't the easiest. They proved that they were an undefeated football team, and I know they don't have their top 2 quarterbacks, and that's the reason.
You cannot, and this is where I think people start to get a little confused. You cannot, especially when you're talking about only 4 teams get in, and this is why the 12 teams playoffs so good. When you're talking about just 4 teams. You cannot you can't look at record, especially if your star player is hurt. Because think about this: if he didn't play all season, they are not 12-0, 13-0. They have 3 or 4 losses, and that's a fact. And I know they're
not.
That's
not a fact. That's a hypothetical.
No,
just so you know.
No, it is a fact. Because
no, it's not a fact. It's a hypothetical.
No, because he made those throws versus Clemson in overtime when they won. He made those throws versus Boston College. They would not be undefeated without him all year. That is a fact.
It's very unlikely. It's not a fact.
No.
Before you start saying it's a fact,
99% it is a fact. Florida State would have multiple losses.
Literally not
if he was not.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm just trying to make it's not a fact. It's a hypothetical.
Broder,
I agree with you.
If he was hurt, they would have lost at least 2 games this year. And you can't look at that. There are teams. Liberty 13-0. JMU almost went undefeated. If we're just sitting here looking at undefeated teams without and you just said it about the Detroit Lions about looking, you have to look at the film and the eye check. When you get down to these little small points, you have to start looking at who's the better football team, who's going to put the product out there, and who's going to beat who.
And that's why they got it right.
Look at the favorites, and that's why they got it right. And I feel so bad for Florida State. You're right. As a former coach, yes, you tell your team, go win these games, you'll have an opportunity to win a national championship. But guess what? If your best player's out and you looked – if they went out and won by 30 points the last 2 weeks, I would say yes, put them in the playoffs. Yeah. They didn't do it. They had a chance to do it. Mike Norvell, you can complain all you want. You went out there and won 2 one-possession games to end the year. That's what got you out. Is not going out and dominating.
That's tough for a coach.
Texas went out and won by 30 points.
They also lost a game. Yeah. I don't know. It's there are both sides to it, but what it turned out is we get in one of the most, if not the most historic college football setting, the Rose Bowl. We get to see Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh go head to head. We get Michigan, Alabama to kick off this college football playoff. I can't think of something much better than that. No. I was actually thinking they were going to pair Michigan and Texas together, but that.
I think that
maybe
what they did,
a possible national championship.
They set it up to have 2 great games.
Yes.
So you could have potentially have Michigan, Alabama, and then Michigan, Texas. That's going to be one of the best college football playoffs.
Yes.
Historic wise.
And the best part, and I know there's the video going around about Michigan being, their reaction, and that's a whole nother story. But I think this is a perfect opportunity. I want Alabama. There are no excuses when you get Alabama in the first round of this college football playoff. You get to face them. There's nothing anyone can say if you win or lose. It's all decided on the field. I hope if they win, they can stick it to Paul Feinbaum again. They can stick it to Pete Thamel again. You want to go. If it was Florida State, people would be saying, "Oh, if Michigan won, they didn't have the hardest route there." Whatever. Now there are no excuses. We got a top-notch college football playoff, and it's going to be damn exciting.
Yeah, Jalen.
Back to your point about the FSU thing, I think if they would have won by 21 plus, it's the SEC championship. So I think Bama still would have got in. I think Bama has that edge with the committee. I think they weren't going to do it because Jordan Travis was out, but the Rodemaker dude, I don't think he would have lasted playing in the playoff. I would love to see them in, and I think it's unfair to the players. Broder said he's an athlete. He understands that. If you play in sports and your best player goes out, you still got to play, right? You know what I mean? But I think for Michigan and Bama, I think it's good for the sport. You get Harbaugh versus Saban. I think Michigan has a good chance to win it too. To be fair, I don't think Milroe's he's the worst but best quarterback you want on a team. Like he's not the best, but he can make plays. He can't throw for shit, but he can run. If you contain him, I think would be easy win. In Texas and Washington, hook them. They're gonna. Yeah. I don't think they can last with Texas. I don't think it's gonna be a good matchup, but you never know. But I'm gonna go with Texas, and I'll call in the show. I'll go Texas, Michigan national championship.
And I think there's a lot of people too in the chat that are kind of saying Alabama and the SEC and stuff that they don't want. Michigan doesn't want any part of it.
I do.
I do want that.
If there's any year, it's this year.
And at some point, and this is the thing where a lot of people were kind of, why did they do that matchup? At the end of the day, it's like, hey, you were going to have to play an SEC school no matter what to win a national championship. Get it out of the way in the first round. Go dominate Bama and prove to the country that you are the best football team in the country. Go win the football game.
Just win the game.
And then go beat Texas or Washington.
Nobody's scared. Like, that video, like, people are very, like, insane for thinking that was for Bama. I'm like 90% sure that video was because FSU got F'd over.
That's what Ryan Romani was there, and he mentioned that.
Because it's just rare you see a team go undefeated, whatever circumstance it is, they go undefeated in the Power 5 with great players. A lot of Keon Coleman, a lot of NFL future players, and they don't get the 4th spot. So I don't think Michigan is not scared of Bama. Michigan is the most hated team in the world, and they won it. Every week. They don't give a damn about that. Jim Harbaugh's the coach. I just think it was just the FSU shock of them not making it.
I want to throw this Coach Walk comment. You give Saban a month to prepare. That's what scares me. I want to throw something out here real quick because Brady in the back mentioned this to me as well. Another Michigan fan. What happened? Let me see here real quick. Week 1. Let me see. Or was it week 1? So week 1, Alabama played MTSU, Middle Tennessee, but. Guess who they played week 2? You basically had all summer. Texas. He had all summer to prepare for Texas. What happened in that Texas game? They lost 34-24.
Damn right, hook them.
So that's to my point here is, and what Brady told me is Saban had all summer to prepare for a Texas team, and they lost that game. He has a month to prepare for Michigan. This is the best defense in the country. I said it on Saturday in the pregame show.
Yes.
There is no defense as good as this Michigan defense. Alabama hasn't seen a defense as good. And yeah, you could say Georgia. No, Michigan has a better defense. This is the best defense in the country, and this defense is going to be what wins them this national championship. Yeah. I fully believe that. I said that on Saturday. Almost made a bet to cut my hair versus Spenny. It didn't do it, but I still am very confident that this is the best football team and defense in that college football right now.
Alabama doesn't have Jamison Williams. They don't have Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, they're a good team, and Jalen Milroe is playing well, but this is a down year.
You have seen ways to dominate Jalen Milroe. You have seen teams take him out of the game. They've had a couple games to where they ended up like that throw a couple weeks ago that he got super lucky and made that throw to the end zone to win the game to go to the SEC championship. Yes, that happens versus a Michigan defense. You're not doing that. They have the best secondary in the country and some of the best guys up front in the country. Like this secondary, these dudes are all going to get drafted and very high.
Sanders still balling out for the secondary as well. We need a healthy Will Johnson back for this game. Yeah. It's super pivotal for their success. But looking at the lines, looking ahead here, -1.5 Michigan favored by, and Texas -4.5 against Washington.
The line has moved already too. It's opened at 2.5.
Did it?
Open at 2.5.
Gotcha. Yeah. Any thoughts on those two games that you like just off rip?
I want to see Michigan, Texas in the championship. Even though I think Texas is better than Washington.
I
think it'd be a great.
That would be the most viewed national championship of all time.
Yeah, the two biggest powerhouses.
It would be insane.
On the Washington Texas game, I think you guys are sleeping on Washington a little bit. I know you guys have been pulling for Texas all year.
Nick, I'm cutting you off on this one. Me and you had this argument on Saturday.
Michael Penix.
Yeah, okay.
Balling, but beat Oregon twice.
And what did he do the 3 weeks before the Oregon game?
Picked up a dub. Let him
What did he do? And on top of that,
you got a dub.
All right, go then. If we want to go.
Let him go.
What's up? I was just saying. I think you're sleeping on Washington. 100%.
I mean, go look at some of these games. Stanford, one possession game, almost lost. Arizona State, do you remember that? I stayed up till 2 in the morning trying to watch that game. Should have lost that football game. Yes, they keep winning. Washington State almost lost that game. Yes, they're a good football team and they're in the college football playoffs. Some people are saying they should have been the number. They should have jumped Michigan. I think Neil Rule put that out.
He did.
0 chance they should have jumped Michigan. Washington has almost lost multiple football games. I get the Pac-12 was good this year. They almost lost versus Arizona State, Washington State,
man.
Stanford, Oregon State. Like these are all one. Utah, all at home, all one possession games. They have been Arizona 31-24. This is a team,
very suspect.
Yeah, this is a team that if they play a real football team like Michigan, they're going to lose. Texas lose. This is not a real football team.
I think all four have
real
question
football
marks.
team, but they can get exposed real quick.
All four have question marks from this season. It's not like Michigan, who's the number one team in the country, had some amazing schedule. They do have the 2 best wins in the country, but their schedule was a joke.
It was.
Tell them, Broder.
It was.
But they dominated. They still
They
have the best defense in the
I do agree that.
Maryland.
And a lot of people
That's
don't
huge.
agree because of the offenses that they played, but their defense is the best in the country.
Chuck Brewer said Neil would have had us 5th today if he had a vote. Yeah, he would have probably.
Oh, for sure.
He for sure would have.
Well, God, there's so many hypotheticals. We could keep this conversation going later in the
Let's
week.
start college football again tomorrow. We have
Yeah.
4 weeks until the college. That's like one of the worst things in sports.
Yeah.
Is you have a whole
Stupid.
month. A whole month until it. And then
Why don't
after
they
that,
do
you
the
have 2
first
weeks.
round in 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks like never mind. Man.
Think about next year.
Yeah.
12. You're gonna have some games next year.
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right, let's get out of this. Let's go to break. When we come back, 9:30. We're gonna go overreaction Monday. I have 3, Broder. How much you bring?
17.
Did you really?
No, a couple, handful.
All right, tell us about Feldman, bro.
I'll tell you about Feldman because since 1996, Feldman has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. They got 18 locations, so there's definitely got to be a dealership in your backyard. Just visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. And catch Woodward Sports in Novi every other Monday. They were there today, so in 2 Mondays, they will be there again. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer, Booner.
And then Guardian Alarm, baby. This is customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people, where your safety and security deserve technology that has been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Make sure you call this number right above me for a great defense. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. Coming out of that break, it was quite. I had to keep it going. Experience the fairway difference for yourself today. You can visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. They are delicious. Or you can order them online at fairwaypacking.com.
All right, welcome back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network, YouTube, or woodwardsports.com. Appreciate you guys all tuning in. Make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, hit that like button. We're at 82. Let's get over 100 here before the end of the next segment. Broder, let's do this. Overreaction Monday. I want to see the people. We've never actually asked the people to throw any overreactions. That
would be great, actually.
If you guys just start throwing them in, and when we get done with this segment, I'll read a couple of them off. You could just do overreactions for the Detroit Lions, and as you go, you hear kind of some of ours. We do have a couple NFL ones, but as we go, if you guys have an idea of a couple overreactions, I'll read a couple off. We'll react to them. I'll go first, though, Broder.
Yes.
I'll hit us first. I'm going to go the tight end. I'm going to go the rookie tight end that we spoke about a lot today, Sam Laporta.
Ooh,
currently, Sammy. He is tied for first with 6 touchdowns among all tight ends in the NFL. Sam Laporta at the end of the season will lead all tight ends in the NFL with touchdowns.
Wow. Is he tied with Travis Kelce?
I believe it's Kelce and maybe Hawk or...
it might be more than...
it might be a couple, or George Kittle as well.
Interesting.
I think he leads the NFL, tight ends in the NFL in touchdown catches.
I don't think that's an overreaction, especially in the last few weeks. He's been targeted in the red zone. Like, they're looking for him, finding him on those routes right over the middle. Jared Goff is now comfortable with him in the red zone, not just moving the ball down the field. So it's hard to pick against Travis Kelce. He can go out there and have 2 or 3 on any given day. But Sam Laporta, I think he's going to have, if not 1 a game, maybe average 1 a game for the next 5 games. 11?
Guess who he's tied with? I didn't realize this when I made this my overreaction. He's tied with Mark Andrews, who is currently out for the season.
Oh, wow.
Travis Kelce has 5.
Wow.
He has 6. So technically active players who aren't hurt, Sam Laporta is in the lead with 6. If he gets, say he gets 1, so basically touchdowns in the NFL right now, Tyreek Hill 12, Mike Evans 10, Cortland Sutton 9, Stephon Diggs 8, a bunch of guys for 7, and a bunch of guys for 6.
These are receiving?
Yeah. So
because David Montgomery's got 10 rushing, right?
Yeah, so this is receiving. So if he gets 2 this next week, he's going to jump up in the top 5 of touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's right there.
Yeah. I'm going to combine one of mine with your question just to keep it going for 2 seconds. Sam Laporta will be an All-Pro this season.
We did talk about All-Pros last week, and we left them out.
I know. But
remember what I said, though? That these last 6 games will determine it. And if he goes off, and guess what he did the first game? 9 catches, 140 yards, and a touchdown.
I want it.
If he keeps doing this, and guys get hot, like with Jared Goff, like quarterbacks with their tight ends, if they start throwing to him, like he's going to have a couple good games here.
Yeah.
I don't hate that, Broder.
Crazy.
Not an overreaction.
Tight end.
He'll be in the conversation for sure.
Oh, yeah. You got another one?
I do. You want me to do NFL or my last Detroit Lions one?
Do your last Detroit, Lions one.
Last Detroit Lions one. I don't know how big of an overreaction this is or if it's not at all. Detroit Lions finished the season 4-1 and win 13 games, which would be, I believe, a team record.
4-1. So we got Bears, Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings, and Broncos before the Vikings. They could definitely go 4-1. It's not as easy as a stretch as we thought earlier in the season, but it's not an overreaction. It might be more likely that they go 3-2, but I don't know. There's something different about this team. They might be ugly games down the stretch, but I think they might go 4-1, and that one loss is not going to be to the Cowboys. How about that?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's that playoff
there,
game.
Bro.
I like that. I think it might just be a road game.
Freddie heard my hiccup.
Vikings. Sorry.
He did.
All right. What's your other one here?
I'm going to go to Freddie Felt in the chat. Overreaction. JMO scores a tutty each game from here on out.
You know what, Freddie? I almost put Jameson Williams in my overreaction, and I was going to say he ends up getting, what is he at, 3 right now? I was going to say 7 touchdowns on the year. That was my line I had it at. So 4 more in the year, 4 in the next 5 games. That was going to be my, I don't hate that.
No. 1
in every game, maybe a little too much.
Maybe a little too much, but I do think they're going to give him, they got to give him more touches than 2 or 3. And like especially seeing what he can do now. Like, he's proved it. If not to me, to Ben Johnson, he's proved it to everyone. He's got to get the ball in his hands 6, 7, 8 times a game.
For sure.
And I love that they did it. They scored his touchdown in reverse. Just you got to see him break free in a different way. It's not an outrageous. That's why that's a good overreaction question. It's not crazy.
I think he gets 4 in the next 5 games. I think there's a game where he has 2 touchdowns. That's where I think it ends up happening.
Okay.
Maybe not 1 in every game. I think he has a multi-touchdown game.
Yeah.
What's your last one? Or did you already give? Do you have 2 more?
I will go to yours next. But Jonah Jackson is more important than Frank Ragnow.
Oh, don't do this.
I know, it's just tough.
That's an overreaction.
I think so,
I know
too.
the stats that you had there earlier with the record.
So I was thinking about it, yup.
Frank is Frank, man.
There's something about your center can anchor your offensive line. It's hard unless he's an all-world guard.
Oh, my gosh.
Which Jonah Jackson is very, very good. I don't know if he's an all-world guard. So you got to go with Frank Ragnow, who's your stalwart of that offensive line.
Shout out Tyler Chevette. Ragnow's 9 toes down.
Ragnow's 9 toes down. Hey, he's got one. It just doesn't really work.
I actually, real quick, before
like
I do
Mr.
my
Deeds.
last one, on the stream, someone mentioned, when does Frank Ragnow retire? With this toe situation, him kind of injury, he's
how much? Do you know his contract? Does he have another year, another couple years on his contract?
Let me check.
Because maybe he just doesn't. He doesn't extend his contract.
Because my
2 years left, maybe.
I think so. My thought was he's going to try and go for a Super Bowl because obviously in the next year or two the Lions are going to have a chance at one. So 2026 is his last year on contract.
Oh, okay. So he's got 3.
Maybe he plays out. I don't think he resigns another contract.
No,
that's not one of my overreactions, but I don't think he resigns one.
Lorena Rios, Cats have 9 lives. Ragnow has 9 toes. Detroit supremacy. He'll retire at 32 years old. That's very specific, my guy.
That might be 2026.
JMO with a 3-tutty game and ends up with 9. God hates cowards. Let's go. See, the confidence for JMO is coming out. It's coming out.
It is.
I know we're ready on a break, but you got one more for me.
I've got one more. I've got an NFL one.
Yeah, non-Detroit.
Dak Prescott.
Oh.
Wins the NFL MVP, fellas.
Oh.
Thoughts?
I think it's an overreaction, but I think he's in the race. He's in there. I hate to admit it, but he's in it.
He's the FanDuel. He is right now the favorite to
win
MVP.
He's a favorite?
Plus
What
300.
the fuck? Even more than Purdy?
Yeah, no, Purdy's
more than
third.
Hurts?
It goes Purdy. No, it goes Dak, Hurts, Purdy.
Wow.
Give it to Stroud, call it a day. That's where I'm at with it. I want CJ Stroud to win it. I got a pretty good size slip on that one. Yeah.
Do you think he actually has a chance now or no?
I think if he continues to win and you haven't really seen this from a rookie, I think you got to put it. He's in consideration, definitely. I also have one for Lamar, but yeah. So I'm not looking good. Not looking good on mine.
Imagine if you did Dak. I'm sure Dak was pretty low as well at that point when you put those in.
I think it's going to come down to Purdy, Hurts, and Mahomes.
I was looking at Dak and Purdy's numbers today. They're almost identical.
Are they?
Every single thing. All the way down from rating to completion percentage. They're literally within points of each other. Yards
and Purdy
per
has
game.
more weapons to his disposal.
So I think it might end up coming down to if they got the same stats. Maybe it comes down to record. I don't know.
Do you think Detroit supremacy said December Dak is here and he'll fall off?
Who knows? Maybe the Detroit Lions end his MVP.
They have a tough schedule. They play the Eagles again. They welcome the home and the Lions. It's not going to be easy. He'll either win it or he'll fall off because if he plays well against the schedule, it'd be hard to deny that.
All right.
Right up on it. You want me to tell him about Mark White?
Tell us about Mark White.
Tell you about Mark White because, Booner, winter's here. And if you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the pinch, we've got some fantastic news for you. Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Here's the deal. When you work with Mark White and Associates, Realtor, they'll pay you up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right. Buying a home just got a whole lot easier. Imagine having an extra $5,000 in your pocket this winter. They got years of experience and a commitment to making your dreams a reality. Mark White and Associates should be your go-to team for all things real estate. This incredible opportunity won't last forever. Call Mark White and Associates today at 248-290-8242.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Just in time for football, Glorious Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you are missing out. So smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check them out online at gloriouscannabis.
All right, you got through that one.
Monday
it is. Victory Monday it is. Welcome back to Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you guys tuning in on woodwardsports.com, YouTube, wherever you guys are at. If you guys can, hit that like button for us. We are 15 likes away from 100. Let's get to that number here. Let's do that. All right, Broder, this is the conversation I want to have here. We talk about this after every win, loss, whatever it is, kind of address the elephant in the room with the Detroit Lions. If it's a loss, we'll sit there and address it, and we're feeling as a fan base and as kind of reporters, I guess you could say you are for sure.
Yeah.
Me, I don't know.
You're in sports media. You're your own character. You're your own person. You're Booner.
As I've been learning here, a lot of people, they'll tell me don't say we or us.
Just speak from the heart.
So I think that's something I've worked on. All right. State of the Detroit Lions, the Booner path. We're going to talk about where it's at right now. And if we really do break it down, it was last week and even after the Bears game, it felt like we were on one of the biggest detours of all time on the Booner path, and we got lost in the woods. And I was like, there is no end to here. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. As this week's gone on, 49ers beat the Eagles. Lions are 9-3. There are about 5 or 6 teams in the NFL right now, Broder, who are tied for second in the NFL.
You see the light?
I see the light now. Ooh, that one hit me. But there's a handful of teams that all are tied second in the NFL for the best record, second best record in the NFL.
And the Lions are in that mix.
And they are sitting there just on the outside looking in. Eagles, 1 game back from the Eagles. The biggest thing I think it's going to come down to is a tiebreaker. But when you just look at the kind of playoff picture right now, Jalen, you can just throw that up whenever you want. The NFC playoff picture, it's interesting. And anything can happen these last 5 weeks.
Wow.
So here's the NFC. The Detroit Lions are sitting there at 3rd, right above the Dallas Cowboys, which I'm guessing if they're 9-3, they're showing that we have the tiebreaker as of now.
That's why we need to win that game.
And then you win that game, and I think if you win that game, depending on the San Fran Dallas, well, the San Fran beat Dallas. Yeah, the tiebreakers are really confusing to the Booner path.
Yeah, but basically,
I'm just being honest.
All they need to worry about is beating Dallas and winning as many of the rest of their games as possible. The key is, can Philly lose 2 or 3 more games out of 5? That's tough. And San Francisco lose 1 or 2 more.
We need San Francisco to lose to the Seahawks. And I'm going to be honest here, this week, every single Detroit Lions fan, and I know you guys are going to hate this, and we're all going to hate it, we all need to be cheering for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah?
We need the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Eagles. That is what has to happen this weekend. They play each other. If the Dallas Cowboys do that, they, I think, taking control of that division there. And then
4 through 9.
That makes every single team basically with 3 losses if the Lions end up beating the Bears. I'm telling you, Broder, you're sitting here there's still 5 weeks. Anything can happen in the NFL in 5 weeks.
Is Atlanta 4 because they're division leaders?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It just looked weird to me. But all 4 through 9, 6-6. The devil.
That's what. So
we root for the Cowboys
as
this
of right
weekend.
now, the way everything works out, if we ended today, Broder, The Detroit Lions play at home versus the Minnesota Vikings in round 1.
I'll take it. That'd be a lot of Vikings in a 3-week stretch. I'll take that.
Yeah.
The way the Packers look this week, I don't want, as of today, this moment, I don't want anything to do with them.
They're playing.
That could change.
Jordan Love.
Especially if Christian Watson remains out. I don't know how serious that hamstring injury he suffered. He's a big piece to them working as well as they have. But they're playing well. They obviously did us dirty on Thanksgiving.
Does that make that loss feel a little better? What you saw last night? It makes that Lions loss. I know it was at home and everything. Just the way Jordan Love has been playing. Like, did you see in our Woodward chat what I put in there, the stat line to start the game? Jordan Love was like 10 for 11, like 200 yards right away, like 2 touchdowns. It was just, he was elite instantly, first 3 drives.
Yeah, see, and not to take anything away from the Green Bay Packers, but I chalk that Thanksgiving Day up. I'm more disappointed in how the Lions played versus how well the Packers played, if that makes a difference. Like, Packers look good, and I almost thought it was somewhat of an anomaly based on how bad the Lions played, especially on defense. But they did look better, so you're right. It does 2 games in a row looking good. That's one thing, but I chalk Thanksgiving up to the Lions.
Just felt like a lot of people with the Packers were like, "Oh, that was the Packers," so like it makes it look that loss that much worse. But seeing that they beat the Chiefs, they're on a pretty good streak right now. Jordan Love's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, that's why it's glad they don't do it like the college football playoff. Like, you beat the teams, it's about your record. Tiebreakers are based on who you beat and who you lost. Like, yes, the Chiefs lost another game, but I still think of that Chiefs win on opening night. Like, people can't forget, you're going up against the defending Super Bowl champions. On Thursday night of the opening game, you went 21-20, a very tough, gritty game. Like, that's the Lions. It wasn't the best they've played, but that is just Lions football, and I think so highly of that game. Even if the Chiefs lose 2 more games, don't get home field advantage for the first time in however many years, like, I still think that's as important of a win or as big of a win regardless of what their record is at the end of the season. Ravens killed us. Even if they go on a tough stretch, I still think that's, at the time, the Ravens were as hot as anybody.
Yeah, into the Booner Pat, before we go to break here, we'll get into mailbag. Last thing on this, bro.
Yeah.
The Lions, outside of these, if you look at everyone's remaining schedule who's fighting for this 1 seed and 2 seed, Lions, I still believe, might have the easiest strength of schedule left.
Yeah.
You play the Vikings twice.
1 and 2 seed, yeah.
Did you see how the Vikings looked last week? I know they were looking good for a little bit. They looked terrible with Josh Dobbs. You have 2 games versus them. You have the Bears, who you should beat this week. And then you have the Broncos, who they've been decent, but that's a beatable team, especially at home. The only game it comes down to is Dallas. So let's get into mailbag, though.
Let's do it. Let's get your questions in, and we'll answer them when we come back.
Yes, sir. Planet Fitness. Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym, tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes, and all memberships include a fitness trainer. You get all of this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world. Planet Fitness, check it out.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Let's talk about it. The official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. They have it all. Liberty trailers, Genrag generators, Snow X balls, and salters. Make sure you guys check outdoor equipment out. You can buy it. You can rent it. 0% financing, delivery right to your doorstep. That is at OutdoorEquipco.com. All right, and welcome back. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. We're getting into mailbag here to end the show. Broder.
Yes.
Oh, real quick, actually, make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't. I think we went down a like. We were at 85. We're at 84.
Oh.
Someone unliked us. Fair enough. We'll take all criticism.
Yeah, I'll take the honesty.
Yeah, as long as honest.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
What if Cats just snuck in earlier, put a like in, then came back just to
took it off?
dislike? Yeah. Anyways, I can't believe I just gave him a minute of time. Second of time, I should
second
say.
is even enough.
You want me to read the first one?
Yes, hit us with it.
ETN scored a touchdown today, but the ETN in our chat, unless he's texting from the sideline, mailbag. The season ended today. Who would be your NFL MVP?
To be honest, Dak Prescott.
Today, Dak Prescott.
The way he's played the last month, it's such a wide open race, and it's not like this is usually there's a year where one and maybe two guys are just putting up big numbers. Just haven't seen it. Or actually, I want to throw this dark horse out. I was one of the earlier this week on the weekend. I was one of the first to talk about it, and then he had a game yesterday. Ask Spenny. I said it at like 8 a.m. to him on Sunday.
Geno Smith.
Tyreek Hill.
If
Tyreek Hill breaks the NFL record and gets over 2,000 yards and is doing what he's doing, leading the league in touchdowns, and that what they're doing in Miami is all because of him, can maybe consider Tyreek Hill for MVP.
Love it. Fellas, MVP?
Yeah,
I'm going to go. You going to go, Nick?
I was just going to re-hit on C.J. Stroud earlier. I think he's playing great ball right now.
CJ.
I'm going to go with Dak. I can.
That's fair.
The narrative's
right now
there.
it's fair.
I'm not confident, but I mean, it's a decent shot.
That's fair. I'm gonna go with Brock Purdy today.
That's fair. I mean,
Kind of out. Yeah, I was about to say Jalen Hurts. Yeah, but
depends how you look at the awards. Some people look at it best team in football, best player on their team.
Yeah, he's a quarterback. I do like that Tyreek Hill.
I might put a bet on it just in case, because if he breaks that record, I do think he's going to be in that, like the final three where they go to where do they go? LA.
They had an interesting.
Tyreek.
Maybe we talk about it later in the week. I forget what show it was on ESPN. They were talking about, does Tua or Tyreek deserve the credit?
That was this morning. I saw that argument.
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill.
It's interesting. We were about to have the Jalen Hurts or AJ Brown.
Man, that switched up.
Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, it's definitely Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins.
So I got one real quick. So if Tua wins MVP, does that automatically grant Tyreek OPOY, or
has to,
or is it possible for Tyreek to win both?
Yeah, he can win both. I think some quarterbacks have won MVP and Offensive Player of the Year.
I think Tyreek can win both. If he breaks a record, I think it's a very tough one.
Would Tyreek win MVP? Would they give Offensive Player of the Year to Tua?
I think they would go both to Tyreek.
Tyreek
Tyreek is having, and I know Cooper Kupp had that Triple Crown year, but he just didn't break the record. If Tyreek breaks the record, he is literally the sole reason the Dolphins, like, if go watch those games, it's not Tua. Like, Tua's getting him the ball, yes. Tyreek is burning dudes. Safeties, corner, they can't stick with him. He is the best in the NFL right now at what he does.
I wonder, and I don't know where to look it up. I'll figure it out. It might just take a while. I wonder how many left-handers have won the MVP?
One. I think I had this conversation with someone.
Really?
It might have been you.
Me? I didn't win the MVP.
We might have texted about it before.
I didn't win that.
No,
was it Elway?
I think it.
Steve Young. It was Steve Young.
I think it was Steve Young. I think he's
Steve
the
Young.
only
Steve
one.
Young's a southpaw. That's
It
right.
was Steve Young.
I think I might have texted you about this.
CEO.
I don't know.
Pretty sure, and it was just one guy has won it.
Football thugonomics with the booth boy.
Freddie Felt.
Yeah, but this is a good one.
Woodward Nights is the best show Detroit has to offer. Appreciate that a ton, Freddie. Shout out. Question: the Lions wins have all looked different this year. What will the Bears and Broncos win look like next week? Can I go first, Broder?
Yeah, of course.
I told Easy before the show. Remember last year's Bears game? First one was a close game. I think it was on the road. It was very close. Bears were in it. And then the next one, after they got a feel for the Bears, they saw what they were like. Next one, they blew them out. I think that's kind of where we're kind of going here. I think a lot of people are going to say, oh, the Bears, like the public's going to be on the Bears. Everyone's going to be on the Bears. Oh, Bears kept it close last time. Lions shouldn't have won. I think the Lions, Dan Campbell, AG, they know how to put a scheme together to beat them. and they're going to do that. Better team, when they play you a second time, they'll dominate. That's how I agree. That's how
Except
I feel.
the Packers.
Yeah, true. Fair.
Yeah.
That got me there.
No, it could go a couple different ways. Let's see. One more. Rosenberger. One more. Yes, Neil is 100% himself on the show as he is off. So I love Neil.
I love Neil. I talk to him all the time off. He definitely is. Mailbag real quick. Last one. Steve Lehman. What if the Lions only win one more game and go 10-7? That, Steve.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, that, Steve, that will be a disaster.
That would be a disaster.
A disaster of not of a season. As long as you still win. What are we right now? 3 games. 3 games in the lead right now for the NFC North with 5 remaining. So you're sitting there. You win this week. If they lose, you basically just have to win and you win the division. That would be a disaster if they go 10-7 and they lose out.
A failure.
A failure. I agree.
Absolute blasphemy.
I think 12 right now is kind of that. And 13, I believe the Detroit Lions have never hit 13 wins.
I think you might be right. In history.
Don't think so. I think 12 is the most. I think in 93 or 4. Let's get 13.
Let's get it,
Let's break
people.
the record. All right, appreciate you guys tuning in here, Woodward Nights. I know we were gone Friday, but we were back today. Great show. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in. Morning Woodward Show, BDE with Neil that you guys were just talking about.
Also.
Armani and Edwards, heavyweights.
Also.
And Woodward Nights, 8 to 10 p.m. And don't forget, wake up 7 a.m. Woodward in Maine, Lions Insider Show with our own Matt Broder.
Yes.
We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
7 Chills, my G's.
Love you guys.